What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You're listening to Agree to Disagree, and we're going to talk Sixers with you. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey, 50-point night tonight, and that's 8 straight for the Sixers. And stay tuned for Crumb of the Week. Let's go. What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about? Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. And every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, no Brian Wilson, no Greg Milakovic, Internet Gate, but Nick DelGozzo, Thomas Arnone, everybody out there, welcome in. We'll do Crumb of the Week at the end of the show. Kelly Oubre's injury impact, not only on himself, but on how that impacts the Sixers as well. We'll give our players of the game from the game we just watched, which is a pretty basic one for players of the game. But this is Pacers, Sixers post-game with a ton of Sixers talk mixed in as well, right? Overall talk, not just this game. You know, where we're going, how we played, things you love, things you may not love, and we'll dive into it all tonight. So we'll talk about all that throughout the show. And our poll question is brought to you by our good friends over at Royal Billiard. And let me just tell you, if you haven't checked out their showroom, you really need to get over there and check out their showroom. It is, what is going on here? Like, why is everything acting slow on me? Like, come on, you know what I mean? I'm producing and talking. I need the producing part to work quick for me. Royal Billiard, the premier game room store in the Delaware Valley. They're stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, do we mention they got hot tubs too? Go check them out. 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com.
Tub it up.
Get in the tub. It's a time for a tub.
Good soak. I could use a soak.
I could use a couple. I could use a week-long soak. You know what I mean? Just every night. Soak with a side of soak.
Yeah.
A poll question, simple one for a night, you would think, especially coming off a 50-point game. But our poll for tonight, Tyrese Maxey will be an all-star this year. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Again, hit the like, subscribe, follow, and most importantly, join the conversation. Comment in. Let us know what you're thinking. The 8-1 76ers, 8 straight wins for this basketball team, 23 offensive rebounds tonight. The list goes on positive things that we haven't seen in a long time. And to the poll, yeah, it's the easiest poll question in the country right now, right? It's agree, but we want to talk about Tyrese Maxey, and we want to talk about why it's an agree and the growth of a player, right? And that's all we've seen. And, you know, you got to remember, guys change positions, right? Everybody thought that would hurt him, would hinder his progress in this year, right? Oh, if he's got to play the point, right? Hasn't played the point. He even said, like, I played the point before. Makes it right. He's played the point in his life. And when you get to play with a guy like Joel Embiid, it makes your life easier too when you're a guard like that. And maybe through the whole time, we were just wrong on what guard we needed, right? Before he got here, right? On what guard we really need to pair with Joel Embiid. Right. And there was talks about, 2 years ago, him and Dame trades, right? Etc. And rightfully so, because he was your biggest bargaining chip. Okay. But I'm so glad the Sixers didn't pull that move. I'm so glad the Sixers knew internally what they had here, right? Because that's so important for general managers, basketball president operations, whoever's are still around left standing after coaching firings, to know his importance to this organization and his work ethic and all the things we knew. You hope those guys know. And they knew. And his shooting only got better. I mean, goodness gracious, guy dropped 50, shot 62 or 63% from the field. That's absurd. That's absurd. Not to mention he had 3 blocks. He had a LeBron block from behind tonight that he pinned it. I mean, that's a 6-foot guard out of, you know what I mean? Like pinning it off the backboard like that is absurd. Even Big T was like, He reminds me of Iverson. And I said, yeah, I get that because he's just faster than everybody, and he's a little human joystick out there. And when you can move and you're that quick and you're a guard's nightmare to cover because of your speed. And then what he did gain from James Harden, the greatest thing he did gain was the step back three.
And the confidence in it.
Well, they because they did work on that. We gave James a lot of credit here for his times where he was a good teammate, right, per se, or was teaching him. So he learned some things. So we'll take that on the way out, 0-4. But at the end of the day, he is an all-star, and his growth as a player is, I almost want to say it's like Hurts type leaps. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of leap that we've watched through, obviously 9 games. Well, now Hurts is different because he's a quarterback, and it's weird. It's hard to compare, but like the growth. Now, Maxey was going to be a lottery pick if it wasn't for, the COVID year. So COVID year saved the Sixers. Because you remember draft night, I was like, that dude's a top 10 pick. If there's a tourney, he's a guard, and he's explosive, and he goes to Kentucky. I mean, those things usually match up well, those 3 things. I'm a guard, I go to Kentucky, and it's the tournament. Like, okay, he might be pretty good. And guess what? He is. And we're blessed to have him, right? Like we usually say we don't deserve a player. Like we deserve him. You know what I mean? We went through a lot of shit to get here, and him and Joel are 2 guys we deserve. And this is where it's left standing. I got a ton of confidence in the next few years when it comes to the Sixers and their chances. That's all. So I agree.
And that's why the move, I mean, not to cut you off. That's why the move was even more instrumental. All right, because I know you're giving them, a little mini credit. You're giving the moron a mini credit for maybe working with him, when he showed up, and I'm not saying he didn't. Right. I look at it the opposite way. I think he hampered this guy. I think he handcuffed this guy last year. Having him on the team, handcuffed, this young man's development. And he's still rising and rising and rising. I just feel like we wasted a year last year having this, having that scumbag around. Right. And that's the way I look at things. All right. So he's obviously gone now, and no need to bring him up anymore. We can see the difference. Clippers going one way, the Sixers continue to go in another direction, and it's really fun to watch. So, I would agree to the poll as well, not just because of tonight's performance. I think he's, it's early on, but he's earned it, and he's putting up eye-popping numbers. A lot of good guards in the East, so it won't be easy. Not that anybody's saying it's easy, but Dame's in the East now, so that's another hurdle you got to get over, for all-star wise. You know what I mean? But I like Brunson. We know how we love Brunson and Haliburton and and LaMelo. There's some Trae Young. There's some tough point guards. You know what I mean? But he's right there. I mean, he's I'm putting him at I got him at the top of the list. I'm just saying it's it's early on, but I believe he will be an all-star. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it is tough, right? Because it is all-star voting, right? So you play that factor. But if you're going for like 28 a night, you'll be wherever the all-star game is. Yeah. You'll find a way there. Somebody will be like,
yeah, even if the fans don't like you, the coaches aren't stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody's gonna be like, hey, this guy needs to play. And guess what? Players aren't stupid either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Players more than anything, and some of the looks from their bench tonight and their coaching staff and guys who had to cover them after he was making buckets versus them were like, they're saying in their head, like, fuck, man. Like this guy's tough to guard. You know what I mean? This guy's stuff is almost impossible to guard when you're making it, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not making it, but he's been really good. He's like, I don't know. His ability to shoot the 3 has grown so much.
On a night where, the guy drops 50 and has such an, and looks so good offensively, I think the most eye-popping play is that defensive play. I mean, that's at the top. I mean, Buddy Hield thought he had a dunk. I mean, he met it at the top. It wasn't on its way down. It wasn't, he didn't stuff him at the rim. I mean, he met him at the top. That's an apex block. You know what I mean? If you want a definition, you know what I mean? And and you put that on a T-shirt. I mean, you ain't gonna find that on anywhere else. You ain't gonna find it on the dial. You can't Google it. That's strictly from A2D Radio. That's an apex block, and it's beautiful and it's fantastic.
Yeah. No, I mean it is. I mean it kind of blocks hey, I got winners here. You know what I mean? Blocks like that tell you what kind of player you got.
They don't give up on the play, and they just keep going all the way through.
That
Even the nurse was making faces tonight on some of the shots, like on how good he is.
We love Nurse, and we knew, he was going to bring his culture to this team, and he was going to put his imprint on it. And that's all we've been asking for is a bunch of dogs. That's all we want. We got 2 stars, and now we need a bunch of dogs to go with it. All right, and not only the 23 offensive rebounds that Tommy alluded to earlier, that's doggish. That's Alpo. All right. They're guys that are, hungry and getting after the offensive glass. All right. But not only that, we're getting back on defense. Our transition D is fantastic. Right. There ain't no more loafing. There ain't no more laziness. Right. We're getting back on defense. And I don't care. It's the NBA. It's a scoring league. So I don't look at it like points per game. You know what I mean? We're getting stops when we need it. All right. And, and the Pacers are a good offensive team. You know what I mean? They can drop 150 every night if they get it going. You know what I mean? So, you're going to give up some points to them, but, we got dogs now. We got dogs, and that's what we wanted. And I think, Tommy had alluded to it, when the trade first happened, it was, not only were we happy to get him the hell out of here, but we didn't want to give up PJ, and I understood the money aspect and all that stuff. I just love how he plays the game. I love what he brings to the locker room and all that stuff. So, but we still got some dogs in there, and now it's allowing Pat Bev to, this is Pat Bev's kind of team. You know what I mean? Where he can just be, he can be a role model. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he wanted to fight Harden for about 2 months right now. You know what I mean? Whenever he was able to key into the facility, I'm sure Pat Bev was waiting there to get on him like a junkyard dog. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, this team went from highly unwatchable and unlikable to very likable and fun to watch real quickly, right? And that's a lot of credit to the guys that are left, because that's the culture that group has built, and they just tried to let the loser stick around and be a part of it, right? I do agree to the poll. I agree with Sweeps. I think it's going to be tough, but he's playing at that level, right? He is an all-star level guard right now. I think, though, too, as well, as long as the team stays at the upper echelon, at the upper spot, half of the division, I think we have a really good shot of getting him and Embiid both there. And again, a lot of things get lost in a 50-burger, right? Joel 37 and 13 gets lost in a 50-burger performance from the kid. But I agree. I think he's going to be an all-star. I hope he's going to be an all-star because he deserves it. And Tommy, you mentioned the ability to add the 3-point shot and consistently and confidently, right? We talked about it his rookie year. We saw the burst, right? We saw the explosiveness, and we saw the ability to get to the hole whenever he needed to or could, right? And we all said, though, we've got to establish at least a consistent confidence in the three. Whether it goes in or not, had the confidence to shoot the three. And now he's obviously making them, right, with the step backs and just, pulling up from anywhere and draining them. So it's awesome to see his growth, and he's the catalyst to this team right now.
Yeah, kudos to Nick Nurse. I mean, as coaches, we know our teams, and we know the guys in the locker room, and we know, we hope we know the right buttons to push, and it was interesting to see that Nick Batum was the guy that got the minutes, got Kelly's minutes tonight. All right. And I think, and Nick knew, like, hey, listen, I'm going to give this Wiley veteran a shot. I mean, he sits in the corner, hit his three shots for 3 triples. He also had 3 blocks and 7 rebounds, so, there's a guy that earned his minutes. But it was interesting to see that he was the next man up, after some devastating news as Sixer fans and as Sixers, so we want to, first say, quick shout out to Kelly and prayers up and heal up. You know what I mean? It's just, when we first heard it, we just like, is this us? I mean, is this us in a nutshell? You know what I mean? And a guy that's happy to be here, and a guy that hates Harden as much as us, and and fits in perfect. I was all ready to get it, and I'm still gonna maybe get an Oubre jersey for Christmas. See with Santa Claus.
Yeah, why not?
What he's got in the stocking for me, but he's our kind of guy, and the dude gets hit by a car. I mean, geez and crackers. I mean, it's my lord.
And the car flees. Go figure.
Yeah. Philadelphia.
Listen, sweeps. We were talking earlier, guys, right, about just the growth of them, right? And when it comes to him, like, is he getting more minutes this year? Yeah, essentially 9 games in, I mean, he's getting an extra 5 minutes, so from 33 to 37. But it's the attempts, right? There's one ball to go around. So when you're talking about his attempts go to 20 is what he's averaging this year, right? And obviously, and ridiculously, he's 10 for 20 because he's shooting 50%, which is up 2% from last year, right? His 3-point percentage is essentially the exact same at 43%, but he's taking 2 more, right? So the ball's in his hands more, right? But he's the guy you want the ball in his hands if you don't want it in Embiid's. Right, his assists are up big time, obviously, because now he's the facilitator, right? So now he's up from 3.5 to 7.5. Okay, his rebounds 2 to almost 3 to 5.5. Right, blocks a full 1, steals a full 1. Everything's up. So not only did his game grow, but you get rid of a guy like that, and you give the guy the keys to the offense, right? And this is what you get when you have a special player on your hands, right? This is what you get. And you team him up with a guy who creates so much space for the country to begin with that you create dynamic duo. And I know Brad Ryder, because he's a loser, even though he does shows here, and I'll say it how it is. Okay, he's a hater. All right, they're all filled up his sports teams, and he wants to talk about, when you got Harden, you said, Shaq and Kobe. Well, and excitement. Right, excitement-wise, you're like, realistically, you knew it wasn't going to happen. Now, prime Harden, prime Joel, maybe you get that. Maybe you get a chip. I don't know. Okay, I don't have that crystal ball. But in all reality, in history of basketball, if you got the great guard and you team that great guard up with a great center, and you have the right pieces, obviously, around those guys, and you have the coach to do it, right? I mean, maybe this is what we were looking for all along. Like the Markel Fultzes and they try to find the guard, the Ben Simmons, the Harden. The list goes on guards, right? Well, this little puppy, this little baby, we're just nurturing,
Yeah, there's certain guys. Like I said, in order to play in this city, man, you either have it or you don't. You know what I mean? It's not a Joe Buckism. You know what I mean? That's not Captain Obvious. I mean internally. I'm not talking about physically. There's just certain guys in all 4 majors that can play in this city. The Harpers, the Schwarbers. You know what I mean? Like there's Jalen Hurts, JoJo, you know what I mean? And obviously, and now Maxey fits that mold, you know what I mean? And, I don't want to leave out any flyers, sorry, but,
we don't know any.
It's not my forte. I'm just rooting. I'm just rooting for him. But, what I mean? Like, so it takes a certain breed to play in the city, So, like you said, to get through whatever guys we needed to get through to find, our kind of guy, and that's in our kind of coach. I know it's early, but we've loved Nick Nurse from afar. We've watched him do his thing from afar. So that was one of the biggest off-season things for me. I was at the top of my list. And I know people don't value coaching that much in the NBA as much as I do. I just think coaching is huge in all the majors. I don't care how talented they are. I don't care. I know they get paid a lot of money. I mean, they got to deal with egos and divas and coaching to me is always going to be at the top of the list. You're the guy that in control of that locker room, control of that room, and you're making the decisions. So that was monstrous for us. And then just to see this young guy just continue to to come into his own and he just defines everything about this city. So I know it's early on, but there should be a lot of excitement, around the Sixers right now, and just tonight, an example, like just it just embodies, it defines who they are tonight. A team that shoots 50% and they still get 23 offensive rebounds. That's incredible. They didn't miss a lot. You know what I mean? So in order to get 20, that's how hard you got to work on the glass. And that's how much it's got to matter to you to get on the offensive glass, because the Sixers don't miss a lot. I mean, to shoot 50%, that's no joke, man. Come on.
Yeah.
It's not like we got 10 Shaquille O'Neals and we're just dunking. You know what I mean? 50%. I mean, that's big time.
And we always say, defense and rebounding is all will, not skill, right? It's all just wanting the ball. And so, yeah, I mean, it was awesome to see. And I think the other thing, when you look at the game too, 28 assists, right? We had Melton with 6, Maxey with 5, Joel with 7, Tobias with 4, Paul Reed with 3, right? So, like, the assist, we talk about Nick Nurse and the systems and the ball movement. It's on display every night, right? Everyone's so unselfish and looking to give up the ball for the good shot, right? For the guy in the best position with that open shot. And you see that, you especially saw it tonight.
No,
yeah, and turnovers at 11. I mean, that's incredible for an NBA game. You like to, you like to be like 10 or under. That probably, that's probably their goal. But I thought 11 was, 11 was great. They didn't turn over the Pacers too much, but we didn't have to when we're, usually when you turn people over, you get into transition, and you get your easy baskets that way. You know what I mean? But when you shoot lights out, we didn't need to get in transition tonight.
No, we didn't at all. I mean, this was just like being able to turn on. They didn't even there's no more turn on and off. Like, NBA teams are going to have their ruts, but I think the biggest thing they take away out of this team is just the way they work. The way they work for all the little things, how much they play defense in a league where there's not a lot of it. And I think, Nick Nurse is the first time here in this city where I've seen X's and O's matter from a coaching staff.
Yeah. Right.
And I see the message matter from a coaching staff. Right. We were tricked a little bit last year. Right. We were duped for 5 minutes. Right. There was a couple minutes through last year where we thought we had that toughness and that ability. We saw some things. Right. We saw some things. Okay. This year it's just different. Right. Because it's a new coaching staff. And you can even see it with Embiid. Right. They're making him get down low more. Right. You see those little things that like Nick comes in and goes, dude, you want to win or you don't want to win, right? You know what I mean? You want to win or you don't want to win. And guys, whatever it is on his coaching staff, might not be Nick who gets through to a guy, right? Because there's a lot of coaches. And I think he brought a great staff here too that I do think matters, right? And I'm almost anti, if you have a ton of talent, you can put anybody there type guy, right? I'm like that guy that says, oh, you put anybody there if you have a lot of talent, right? And that's never Doc Rivers was just an energy guy. That's the kind of coach he was. He would get you fired up in the locker room, and then there'd be no scheme to what you're doing.
Well, you play in the NBA, so that then you become not to cut you off. Then you become a player's coach. Those guys that play in the NBA. So,
accountability was never here like we thought it was.
Yeah.
Right. You think, oh, Doc's coming. There's accountability. Remember? I remember the shows when we first got him. We were hoping that was coming. Well, that didn't come. I really think for the first time ever with Nick here, there's accountability because he beat you. So you're big dog on this team. If I'm Nick, I come put my balls on the table with Joel when I first meet him. You know what I mean? Because, essentially I'm maybe one of the few coaches who know how to slow you down because you don't stop him. You just hope to contain him. Right. And they did a good job of that defensively scheme-wise. And the one thing his teams always did is they rebounded the basketball at a high rate. Right? They play good defense and they ran a good system. We watched that system win a championship with 1 star, like we talked about the other night. We have 2 of them, and we have maybe the best complementary player to those 2 stars that you can get in a guy like Tobias Harris, because he doesn't need the ball to put up 18. Because his 18 come in different ways. He'll come from a 3-ball, 2 threes, a rebound, put back. Right? He'll get 1 in transition. We'll get 4 in transition. You know what I mean? He doesn't need it running through him the whole time. So when you and then Batum sweeps that, or Kelly, who's going to sit in the corner, right? per se. If you leave him open, they'll bury a three on you. Okay, so and DeAnthony Melton, another guy who doesn't demand the basketball in this offense, because that's last year. I mean, it looked good on paper. You got four guys who's touching the basketball tonight. Is it Tobias? Is it Joel? Is it James? Is it Tyrese? It's almost overkill. You know what I mean? I think the NBA is slowly learning it. The smart ones, the smart organizations are going to slowly learn it, that you just need two, man. You know what I mean? You just need two. It's the right things you put around those two.
And good complimentary pieces. Absolutely.
Yeah, because look at all the teams that have won it. You know, Golden State, it was two. Let's not get it fooled here. Besides Durant run, it was two. Okay, and then Durant made everybody think they could do it again.
Yeah, take this.
But I love the way Tobias is playing. I mean, I don't want to get him. I don't want to get, we could talk about Joel. We know what he brings. 37 tonight quietly, like Greg said.
Yeah.
50 from Tyrese, but don't get it twisted on the way Tobias Harris has played this year. He's walking into 18 a night for you every night. He plays great defense, like we talked about. All those little things matter. Man, we'll get in there how they're going to do without Kelly, but they're good, dude. And it's not like, I'm not crowding Indiana. It's the NBA, dude. You won 8 straight. I don't give a shit who you're playing.
It don't matter.
It's the back-to-back, too. It's the back-to-back. No, it wasn't. They were off last night. Sorry.
They play back-to-back, but they don't play till Tuesday now.
No, I just kept thinking tonight was like, I got it screwed up.
Oh, it was the second game. Yeah.
No, they had a night off. But either way.
But, I mean, Tom, talk about Tobias. I think part of his major impact, too, comes at the end of that third quarter, that early fourth quarter, when he's running with that second team, right, where it's Maxey sometimes and Tobias, but then you sprinkle in your Paul Reeds, your Pat Bevs, right, whoever else off the bench. That's where I think, Donnell House, I think it was tonight, but that's where I think his biggest impact is he's able to be either option 1 or 2, depending on if Maxey's on the floor. And I think that allows him to kind of get him going for that stretch down the fourth quarter, because we know how important he is to be complimentary to those big two.
No, you're spot on. He's got to be complimentary to him.
And when he's doing his thing, that allowed the big fellas some more rest. You know what I mean? Because the Pacers, and they won the third quarter. All right, they cut it to 1. Which we know the NBA and good teams are going to make their run. So, we weren't surprised, but they got it to 1 going to the fourth. And Nick, had enough confidence in the 5 that he ran out there, and Maxey absolutely took over the beginning, the first 6 minutes of the fourth, right, where the big fella could have a seat, stay there, big fella.
You almost thought they were going to pull him back.
Stay there, big fella. Yeah. It got to like 5 minutes, and I'm like, he might not come back in.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I wouldn't take a squirt. I thought I maybe missed he turned an ankle or something. I'm wondering where he was, but when you got a guy just dominating like that, it allowed him to get some extra rest. Much needed too. So. Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, it definitely was. Johnny, what's up, baby? He said, "What up, gents?" Says really nice to be finally playing 5-on-5 basketball. Thanks for the super chat, Johnny. Yeah, no, I think that's a huge thing you take out of it too, right? I don't want that to get twisted throughout all of it either. Is that there isn't that big ego in the room right now. Outside of whatever you want to consider Joel. You know what I mean? There isn't that guy. If it was the Beniers, if it was Harden, whoever it was, those guys aren't here anymore.
Yep. So
now it's like, we're out of excuses, and we're playing the type of basketball we were hoping to play 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
So whenever it comes, it comes. I'm not gonna be mad at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this we deserve this again. Right? Just like we talk about deserving Maxey. We deserve this too. Right? We deserve to be playing this kind of basketball and this style of basketball, and feel good about the direction of our team, not only through the year, but through the whole damn, the whole season into the postseason.
No, but I thought something you said a couple minutes ago was really interesting, and that's it's always been my thing too with the NBA. Like, never really understood, the whole super team concept. You know what I mean? They're just not. There's just too many guys that are just too many ego guys. There's too many ego guys. So, too many egos with one pumpkin to go around. You know what I mean? There's only one pumpkin, man. So it's just, so it's always weird to me. You know what I mean? So I think you do have the perfect dynamic. To have 2 stars and just a bunch of role playing dogs.
Yeah,
and have your 2 stars be dogs too. You know what I mean? Like you can't, you're not going to succeed with 2-star divas. You know what I mean? Like your 2 stars, your 2 best players have to fit into that culture. You know what I mean? And obviously our guys do. You know what I mean? That's just, that's all those great Spur teams. With Pop was, like first guy shorts he would get in was Duncan's. You know what I mean? He'd be in Duncan shorts daily. At practice, in a game, you know what I mean? Like he lit Duncan up, whenever he could, and most of that was strategically, because, Dunk didn't do too many things wrong. He's an all timer, you know what I mean? But, there's times when you got to show everybody else, I'm biting this dude's ass, you know what I mean? So what do you think's going to happen?
I'll go after anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like you said too, right? What I thought, like what you said, Doc was, I'm gonna be everybody's buddy. It came to that point. Like, so I don't know if that accountability was ever there. And then nobody's getting in your ass, like you said. And if you're getting in the best player's ass, like we just talked about, then what's gonna happen to the rest?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you do it, to your point, just a little bit revisionist history, regarding Doc. Like if he was doing it all along, then Ben probably doesn't get butthurt in the interview after we lose to the Hawks. You know what I mean? When he's, but if you don't get in the guy, if you're not getting after a dude all the time, then he just sees that interview like, oh, you just kind of threw me under the bus, dude. Like, what do you ran me over there. You know what I mean? Like, rightfully so. You know what I mean? I don't like coaching sugarcoating things either, but I also like to keep things internally. All right. But, to me, that just shows me that he wasn't getting after him like you should have. Right. Because then he maybe developed a little more thick skin, because you all have players that we can coach different. It doesn't mean that we give them any special treatment, but I got guys, Tommy's got guys, Greg had guys. I got guys that I can scream at, yell at, and get in their faces. Then I got guys that I can't do that to. All right. Doesn't mean that they're getting away with anything. I just got to grab those dudes, bring them in for the real thing. And I can't really scold those guys publicly. All right. Cause they'll fold like an accordion. Right. But I get it. I grab them up in here and say, hey, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, and again, with your best players, you need to hold them accountable in front of everybody, which we all do. And sometimes on purpose. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll look for that thing, the coach up or whatever, right in front of everybody else to make a point like, yo, player A, B, or C isn't any different from you guys. You know what I mean? Whoever it is. You don't want to run a ball or a million things, right? A million things. So, but that goes the same thing when you come in terms of basketball, and especially like everybody follows what the stars do, like we always talked about. You know what I mean? How your stars treated, how they go about their business, and I think it really matters when you have a young kid who goes about his business like this too, right? Who's mature a little bit before his age, right? At 20, was he 24 now? Or he might still be 23. I know, Greg. I know you're going there. It worries me a little bit. Maybe 23, right?
Oh, he's an early November birthday.
So I mean, this kid's like still,
came out early. He probably came out at 20. You know what I mean? So 3 years,
11/4/2000.
19 or 20. Yep.
No, but I mean, and that's huge for your team too. I mean, there's just so many positives right now. We can talk about with this team, and again, they look different, but we're not even at Christmas, and I always talk about at least that's when the party really gets going. So after Christmas, but hey, it doesn't mean. Listen, I say this all the time. Like people are like, well, you don't want to start hot. If this is who they are all year, then you're talking about a 1 or 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm not running from that. I know years past the 1 seed burned us, but if I like that's something I'm still shooting for here. with the teams I got to fucking play. I'm not like being like, oh yeah, 4 is cool. Like 4 is fine, but I want to be one of those teams because I want stuff coming through here. At the end of the day, I still want stuff coming through here.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to.
That's.
If I don't want to go to Milwaukee and they got to come here, that's a win for me.
Absolutely.
So,
your team goal. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but you got to start somewhere, right? Like as a basketball team, you can't start about what you haven't done. You got to start what you got to go accomplish first to get to what you haven't done before, right? So as a player, that's in Joel's shoes, who's been through second round exits forever, and Tobias, it's hard not to think ahead, right? It's hard not to think about getting there, but there's stepping stones to there every year, right? And the stepping stone one is, hey, win my conference, right? Win whatever it is, maybe the number 1 seed in the East, whatever it may be, which is probably number 1 seed in the East, and that's the accomplishment they got to go and try to take from Boston, from Milwaukee, from whoever else, right? That's a goal for this basketball team, because if you get that, and I know Boston beat us here, but Game 7 wasn't here. Game 7, we had to go there. All right, and that's not an easy place to play, and we had to go there for Game 7. So let's not act like we blew it here. No. But if they had to come back here for a 7, who knows how that goes? I'll play here all day.
Yeah, it's a new year, and like I said, to quote my man Jelly Roll from earlier in the week. You know what I mean? There's a reason that the windshield, is bigger than the rearview mirror. You know what I mean? So it's don't worry about what happened. Don't worry about what happened before. I mean, I know we get into that negative. That's what a guy like Harden does to us. You know what I mean? So I have to be as guilty as charged. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the year, I was still gonna watch and still gonna be jazzed up and all that stuff, but it was it was blah for me. You know what I mean? Until and then just getting rid of him and just clean the cabinets out. It was little spring cleaning. You open up the windows, you spray the Lysol, and all of a sudden you're feeling a lot better. So
get all the allergies out.
Yeah, whatever. To get that poison out. You know what I mean? So, to Tommy's point, like you should have the team goals, for this year should never change, so it should be, win an NBA title, win the NBA title, win the in-season tournament, win the get the number 1 seed, win the East, and all that stuff. That should be your team goals. You know what I mean? And I know nobody likes that tournament, but listen, it's here. So let's
go win it.
Make a statement. They're doing it, so let's go win it.
Exactly. Make a statement. Like shit, it's meaningful basketball per se.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of money, bragging rights, first one ever to get it.
Yeah,
right. So screw it. It's a long season to begin with. So I actually like an early on thing because you know what? Guys get banged up throughout the year. You never know who you're missing in a finals, not a final, but in the playoffs, right? So, at the end of the day, man, I just like basketball. So, I'm in for watching basketball. I'm in for watching, I don't want to say meaningful, but knowing players are playing harder, right?
Yeah, you get that,
and I'm all up for that. But I'm all up for winning the East because with those 2 guys, man, we're dangerous. That's all. Everybody has the 2, but I really like the 2 we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're right there.
Sure.
I
like Tatum and Brown. I like ours better.
I guess people would lean to Dame and Spelling Bee, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, Spelling Bee is really special. So is Joe, and Tyrese is nothing. He don't sleep. The rest of the country, not us. Don't sleep on. Don't sleep on Tyrese. You know what I mean? Like, Lillard's Lillard, and he's been doing it a little longer. So you might have a little more of a, on the resume, you know what I mean? But, I'll take our 2 guys. Absolutely. So, you get that 1 seed. Like Tom said, I know we've been there before, but it's a new year. You know what I mean? You get a chance at the 8, you get a chance at the 8 or 9, and then you get a chance at the 4 or 5, and, you pave the road, you pave the road of a true 1 seed. That's what you want. You know what I mean? That's you, it doesn't, it should be an easier road because you've earned it, by getting the 1 seed.
Yeah. And I just think like this roster is really good. It's deep. And now you look at whenever Oubre gets back, it's just a bonus. right? When we talk about that, we'll talk about him on the other side after we take our break here in a couple seconds, minutes, whatever. But that's now going to be a big get back, and we'll see where the team shapes up later on here. If you do anything with like small little things, but no, in terms of like comparing those two versus everybody else, like I'll take R2. I got a reigning MVP. And I got a guard that I almost think is unguardable at times because of his quickness. But I mean, I'm a big Jaylen Brown guy. I mean, I hate the Celtics, but I like Jaylen Brown. Tatum's a stud. So those guys are what they are too. So not knocking those. And there's a guy down in Miami that I ain't going to sleep on either. And his running mates, right? Him and Bam. So I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the body of work. That's the only thing that would separate the other duos had they been there. You know what I mean? I guess if you spelling bee has, Dame really hasn't. So that's where those guys would get the nod if you were asking me, gun to my head. You know what I mean? We're still taking our guys, through and through. I'll take my chances tomorrow. Let's play. We play Milwaukee tomorrow in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's go. Giddy up. Whether it's now or whether it's late May. But if you're asking me what the difference, obviously Tatum and Brown, they're battle tested, and so is spelling bee, and as Tommy alluded to, so are the Heat guys. So that's where we're trying to get to.
No, go ahead, Greg. What were you going to say?
No, just say everyone's got their two, and they're all special. But I like our complementary pieces better than everybody else's. When you look at it, right? When you throw in Harris, right? When you throw in, Oubre and now Batum and even like a Paul Reed, like as a big, right? I like those complementary pieces for R2 better than some of those other fits. And they're complementary for their, for their side.
Oh, absolutely. And that matters, right? Matchups and all those other things for sure.
Is Morris, I love Morris. That was a coach's decision. Was he just banged up?
He's played like a few minutes.
Yeah.
He's played like a few minutes since he got here. So I don't, maybe now, no, Oubre for a while, I would expect him to get some more minutes. But no, I mean, listen, just those two, they're all very similar matchups, right? On like, each team's got dudes, and even though you can make a case like those guys are battle tested. Well, like Maxey's young and he's battle tested per se because he's been in the dance every year, right? And he's played in it, he's grown in it, and I think the more you play in it when you're young, the better you get at it, right? Because it is a different game, it is a different level to it, right, guys? So, that's only going to help him. No, Joel's not even battle tested because he gets knocked out every year. Yeah. But Maxey, like in a weird way, like just like circling back on that, that's a great point. He's almost battle tested in a youngster's way, where like, oh, you've been to dance, right? You played some really good teams. You lost. You had minutes, right? You got meaningful minutes in the postseason, which I would assume is going to help a guy like that's growth. You would think. Which helps Embiid.
For the young side, right, to your point, for a young side, right? Now,
for the young.
His next step is getting over that hump, right? And helping Joel get over that hump, who's been there a minute more, right?
Where Dame's never been. Well, he has a little bit, right? He's never really been, though. Giannis has won it, and Brown and Tatum have been to the dance. So, and obviously Jimmy's been to the dance and that group. So they've all been to the dance, but not like Brown and Tatum, you can say were there quick because they're young. But he's like where they were at 23. Makes sense in a way. Yep. He's where where those guys were, where it's like getting to the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always the the first step. You know what I mean? Like, nobody will ever know if you don't get there, if you can perform in the playoffs, So, making a deep run, that's obviously part of growth and part of getting your team over the hump, but that's not an individual stat. You know what I mean? Like if you do your job and he shows up every game and they don't get past the second round, it's like at some point you feel like you're snake bitten. But I think we all agree that he'll show up. Tyrese will show up. You know what I mean? So
and they're 27. Brown's 27. Tatum's 25.
What up, Spell?
So realistically, yeah, Tatum's still young, right? Obviously at 25. But, when he was 22, 23, he was starting to get battle tested in the postseason, right? So it's similar, right? It's not similar comparing players. Just like guys got to grow in those spots too, especially now that you're the dude with the dude. You're the other dude, right? You're Batman one night, he's Robin one night, however you want to slice it, right? Yep. Now that you're a dude come postseason time, that's even bigger weight on your shoulders. So the being able to play those minutes, I think we're a long ways away from that. But that should only benefit him come this year's dance, hopefully. But Red saying you're right, brother. We do finally have some wing depth. And not only like we talked about the other night, not only in the small forward role, but like your power forwards who are stretches, your guards who are long and lengthy, right? Man, I mean, we have some things here. So listen, we're gonna take a quick timeout here on Agree to Disagree on A2D Radio. We'll be right back. We'll talk about Kelly Oubre, his injury impact not only for himself, what the injury entails, but for the Sixers as well moving forward. We'll continue our Sixers talk, coverage, and we'll get into Crumb of the Week before we get out of here. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. I'd like to give a shout-out, since we were just talking about them, Carlino's Market, located in Ardmore, Westchester, PA. Go check them out. You can even order online with gourmet cheeses, meats, olive oils, gift baskets. Elevate your dining with Carlino's Gourmet Italian Deli. Discover the taste of Italy now. Go check out Carlino's Market, Ardmore, Westchester, Pennsylvania. And our next topic conversation is brought to you by Hats.com. Use code Philly and you get 15% off your order over at Hats.com. And you can also order the same hat Brian Dawkins wore in his Hall of Fame induction. So that's always fun. But we started off the show. We were talking about, is Tyrese Maxey will be an all-star this year? Is he an all-star? We all agree. And numbers-wise, it's like, yeah, sure. But it's not just as simple as that because obviously, it's fan voting, etc. And there's a lot of good guards. So we all agree right now. And listen, a long time away from there. We just wanted to open with him because it's important to open with a guy who was, awesome tonight. Awesome. And some of the most electric stuff I've seen from a guard here since a kid from Georgetown. Right? I mean, that's probably the most electric I've seen guard play since him. And I mean, that's crazy to say that long, right? That long ago. But that's the last time I've seen that type of guard play, at the Wells Fargo Center. That's the last time. It was last time was AI probably. That kind of elite guard play. Like, I've seen it from Joel, obviously, but that's not a guard. But, I mean, when's the last guard you've seen this type of this type of really skill level. Like, when?
You saw flashes with Ben. You saw flashes, but never sustained.
Never dropped 50.
No, never dropped 50 for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
no, but you saw flashes of greatness, I guess, if you want to say.
Yeah, but who's the last guard to drop 50 here?
I don't want to
think. It's got to be AI, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Allen.
Yeah, or Stack. Or Stack.
Yeah. Jerry. Yeah, maybe a Jerry piece. A Jerry nugget mixed in. But you know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show you how good he is. Now, you're not going to start comparing a 23-year-old to a first ballot Hall of Famer and a generational talent and a guy who changed the game of basketball in a way, right? Not doing that. I'm just talking like how long it's been for us as a fan base, right? To have that kind of elite guard play here. So that's cool. Like, that's fun to have. You know, when you already know you have another guy who dropped 50 right with him and he's 7-2. It's like, okay, which way do we want to beat you up tonight? We want to go inside or outside? So let us know about the poll. Tell us what you think. You know,
Allen's the last guy.
Allen's the last guy. And
Allen did it 10 times.
No notes. And sad that you would hope to have notes on that. You would hope that there's so many. 10?
He did it 10 times.
At the Wells Fargo or just 10 times?
No, just in general.
Okay, yeah.
Will did it 11.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Joel's at 5.
Larry Hughes, maybe once.
Dana Barros.
Dana Barros is the other name.
That's 12 threes. Yeah, 12 threes that night, I bet.
Yep. But guess what? That's pre-AI, too.
Yeah, it was pre-AI.
Dana. I love Dana, though. I remember going watching Dana Barros play. You know, but that's how dreadful. It's almost like Bobby Hoying.
BC.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Bobby Hoying's the next Joe Montana because he threw 5 touchdowns. Right. Same thing with Dana Barros. Dana could score though. But that was some bad basketball. That was Clarence Weatherspoon.
Dana could shoot the 3. Yep.
Yep. Spoon. Every time he would make it, his baseline baseline jumper that he would make the spoon.
Clarence.
Remember the baseline jumper? That was his jumper.
The spoon man.
But no, this is fun. This is a nice duo to have. And like I said, a lot of teams, not a lot, but enough teams in the East have it. So, and it's gonna be a war. Kelly Oubre's injury impact himself, broken ribs, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And other nicks and bruises.
Yeah, nicks and bruises expected, but like, you know, some bone bruises, obviously, and how do we know how many, Greg?
The ribs, no fun. I'll tell you that.
No, not even one. That's why I'm curious about how many. How many of those?
Been there, yeah, no, multiple with an S. Jesus.
So the last 6 are the last guard. It's the last guard to score 50, right? That's fun. All right. Red Sand says Larry Hughes showed him more flashes of greatness than Simmons. He showed Larry more too. You know, he showed Larry more too back then. Frankie, you're right, Frank. I mean, it is the most Sixers thing. I think we all said it last night. Like, can we not have nice things? Like every time we get a nice thing, it's like something's got to. We're gonna play this game. Guys getting hit by a car, like in Center City. Like, can we learn how to drive in the city too?
It's insane. Like, it's just absolutely.
And then, of course, Philly flees, right?
I'm sure he was.
Away.
Yeah.
He was. He's had a nice dinner. It's just, it's unreal.
You can't make it up.
This says 1 rib.
Okay, well that's better.
One rib. All
right. Well, I mean, listen, he's probably out. You know, they said significant time, which to me is like when they first said that, I'm like, what's this? Like a 4-month injury? Yeah. But no, he'll probably be back in a month.
That's what he gets for living in the city, though. Get out to the suburbs. Come on, man.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, I think he'll be back around that. You know, or Christmas time, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but that's plenty of basketball. So thank God for not only him, but for his team. 10 to 12 weeks, Frankie says. All right.
What?
10 to 12 weeks.
Jesus. What? I mean, they said significant. That's 3 months. If on the high side, Frankie. I mean, we're not chastising here. We just don't like to hear that, pal. Jesus.
So that's like middle of January.
Yeah. That's 2 and a hook. 2 and a hook right there.
Well, at least
the rest of November. The rest of November is the hook, and then all December, all January. That's February. Then, that's just if you're talking 12 weeks, or no, 10 weeks. That's 10 weeks. It's the beginning of February.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Well, at least it's
not. We got 2 weeks left in November. There's 2.
Yep.
How much basketball you got left? January, you get all. January, you get all February. You get all February, and then
it goes to April. Playoffs start to April.
Yeah, so
April 14 is
okay. So you have enough.
Season.
All right, so you have enough ramp up time here, which is important in that conversation with him long term, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you look at. Like, okay, does he have enough time to play with these guys? All right, you still have 2 months to play together. Okay, get back in your rhythm together. We're good. And him as a player, when you talk about basketball legs, right, and the importance of that stamina to get that back up.
Yeah, right? Obviously, like you said, we don't the nicks and bruises and the bone bruise. We don't know what happened to the lower half. I mean, obviously, unless he jumped, we got to imagine that his lower half got banged up too. I mean, I know the ribs were on the way down or whatever. I'm not trying to reenact anything or act like I'm a doctor, but
I think though,
if it's the lower half,
side of your mirror hit the ribs.
Okay, because if it's the lower half, if it's not the lower half. Then he can ride the bike and do that kind of cardio, to Tom's point,
Yeah, Don. Yeah, of course he's going to be out a long time. We know.
Don, really?
We didn't know, Don. I mean, we didn't know. I mean,
guy could have been going 10 miles an hour. How do we know?
Yeah, we don't know. And the fact that he's a trained athlete.
God,
okay.
Love you. All right. The Lions are 7-2. You coming here all fresh. All right. Relax.
I don't know. Donnie could have jumped over the car. I mean, the guy, you couldn't put it past him. He could have jumped over the car. All right, these are trained athletes, man. These guys jumping up and touching a backboard and putting 4 quarters down and taking $1. So come on.
You ever see European Vacation? That guy got hit by a car. He was fine.
What up, Frankie? Frankie said his first time comment. Love the content. Frank, thanks, Frankie. We love you being here. I said, how do you compare last year with this year? Well, last year I think there was the hopes like every year, right? We saw moments from the loser that we thought we were playing like good basketball. We thought we had some more toughness. But again, to Doc's fault here, I don't think we had enough X's and O's. Okay. So I think that was a big downfall for us. Okay. I don't think we had like get in your ass type guys here. And I think one of our stars was a diva. So unless you're like a superstar still, that doesn't fly, right? So if you give me 17 a night, that's not cool. Because there's a news flash to you. Joel's eating right now, and he doesn't need Harden getting him the ball. So you can miss me with the assists and how unselfish. Like Joe's going to do what Joe does, all right? With whoever the other guy is, okay? Like the one thing Doc did say, it's a dictatorship here. Ball goes to him first. You know what I mean? And I do agree with that. Ball runs through Joel, as it should. But, the lack of ball movement, Frankie, last year. The shot, running down the shot clock to 3 and then a panic. Or Harden jacking one and then airballing it. Like, how many times did we say, hey, the legs just aren't there anymore, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay. The legs just aren't there. It's not the same guy when you go back and you watch highlight videos from Oklahoma or Houston, etc., right? Even at the end of Houston, not the same guy, dude. Like the burst wasn't there.
Yeah.
His ability to finish at the rim was probably one of the better players I've seen in basketball. Why he's the top 75 guy? It's because his ability to draw contact and finish was like you never saw it, right? So he didn't have it anymore because you remember when he would get bumped, there was no lift with the bump. Make sense? Like instead of lifting through the bump, right? He would get like you get a Sharpie underneath him. You know what I mean? Like, did you jump? Did you jump? So he just lost it.
That's the one word for me. So, Frankie, welcome aboard, brother. But without getting in depth, I think Tommy covered a lot of good points. To me, the biggest difference is Harden. I mean, it was a locker room cancer. So, I mean, I know we had to get rid of one to get another, and we were hoping it was different, and maybe he wanted to win, and we just knew that it obviously the leopard never changes his spots. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? And me and Tommy tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, and Greg and Wills were, they were standing pat with their hatred,
yep.
And good for them, and obviously, I'm sure they wanted to be wrong, but it didn't work out. So, the number one, so the easiest answer for me at the top is Harden. You know what I mean? And then if you wanted to dissect us a little deeper, then you say, hey, listen, I think our bench is obviously deeper. We got some pieces back that that's we got some toughness, even though we had to get rid of PJ. And now it's allowing Maxey, as I said earlier, I thought he was, handcuffed and a little bit hampered by Harden last year. So, that unchains him, with Harden being gone, and it elite, the locker room can breathe now. And it's just it's a better workplace. It's a better work environment. And for our young superstar point guard, he is now, he's unfettered. You know what I mean? Just let him go, let him play.
No, and they are. And like, you can't say enough things like tonight just about the way that it was crazy to see coaches and players react like that, not only on the team he's on, but the other team. Right. Mm-hmm. That's something that I noted tonight. Right. Like I said, the one assistant, the girl coach who was sitting next to TJ McConnell the whole night. Those two, they were looking at each other after like Tyrese made like crazy shots, and they were just like, with the shake of the head, like, can't believe he made that. Can't believe that's electric. And then there was a couple shots and Nick Nurse, same thing. Like wow, like you know what I mean? And that's fun to see too when people around are watching. A special moment, because 50 in a game, man. Like that ain't easy. It's not easy at any level, especially at 23 years old when you got another guy on your team who gets buckets too. You didn't go shooting 40 times for it either. 32 attempts.
It's efficient. Yep.
Like that's a 50 piece. That's a hey, I'm gonna give a lot of respect to this 50 nugget. Right, guys? That's a different type of 50 than your traditional, I'm gonna shoot it, whatever. I'm gonna shoot 40%. I'm gonna go to the line 40 times. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna go to the line 20 times. This was how many times did he go to the line tonight?
I would say 10, because I'm just trying to do the math.
He's 3 for 3.
Oh yeah.
He's only 3 for 3 from the foul line. He was 7 from 11 from 3.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to add up. I was taking them off. I was trying to take that off the regular field goals, and I thought that would be 13 field goals. I got you. Yeah, so 21. Yep, 21. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, 21 and 26 is 47. Yep, 3 for 3. That's it.
Listen, it's man, it's just great.
Big fellow was 12 for 14 from the line. So nobody went to the line except for him, which is fine. So he knocked it down
for the course.
knocking down his free throws, and that's awesome. That was a good night. It was a good night and fun to watch, and he's electric. We know what the big fellow can do, and it's just they're a fun team to watch. So can't wait to see where the ride takes us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. Hopefully further.
Let all the haters keep coming. You know what I mean? It's, we won't get any respect nationally because of what's happened. All these years, and listen, I understand it. So, there's this is a year you don't talk about it, you be about it. So that's how you shut people up.
Yep, exactly. And Matt, what's up, brother? He said, "What's up, ATD fam? Nick Nurse style basketball, showing up and show our true potential with our key players that have been here and our new addition pieces." Yeah, I do think you're watching, and listen, obviously, right? You won 8 in a row, but I do feel like you're watching a group that does buy into not only this system but this coaching staff. Nick Nurse is a great hire to me. right? I think the biggest hire is that he's able to bring Rico Hines with him, and he didn't take a job somewhere else. Because that's just one of the assistants, right? And I know he's got a bunch of them, but I think players really respect that guy. And I think the more guys you have on your bench that are respected, the better. The better. It's not a freaking free for all.
Well, yeah, and then you don't have to micromanage. You know what I mean? Like that's when you can let those guys do what they got to do. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Get involved in a timeout, that's fine. But if you trust your guys, you can hand a clipboard to them and let them draw something up. You know what I
mean? Yeah. When we were talking about that block earlier, right, the Maxey block, in my back of my mind, I was thinking it was a big spot, and I see it here on Twitter. Sixers were up 4, 111, 107, 7.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, right? So right in that in-between time that Joel's on the bench, right, as we said earlier, right? This is when the Pacers kind of made their run. And that's when that block happens. 7:30, Sixers are up 4, and that block happens there. And the Sixers kind of separated a little bit more after that, right? So that's not just a block in the first quarter, right? It's not just a block in, garbage time. That's a block, a defensive play, a huge play in the game from a guy who dropped 50 in the crux of the game too. Like, I mean, that's what makes that block even more special than what it already was.
Yeah. No doubt, Greg. No doubt. Time and place, right?
Yeah.
Time and place, a key factor in all these conversations. KZ, did you guys see Rocco hugging McConnell after the game tonight? Such a nostalgia moment. Yeah. And, TJ was talking shit to Joel after he got a bucket on him, which I love to see. I love TJ.
They're going to stay in town. They play Tuesday, so I'm sure they're all going to go out either.
Oh, yeah. They're boys, man. That's process cats.
Yeah. That's tournament time, too. That's in season Tuesday's game. Tuesday.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, every Tuesday, Friday. So that's
okay.
That's when it's an in season.
Tourney time.
It's a group game on Tuesday, but it's so funny you said that because I was going to bring him up, but I didn't want to on a night that as much as we love Tyrese, and on a night he did his thing, I didn't want to say like, man, I love TJ so much, and I wish we had him, you love to have him, at the end of the bench, you know what I mean? But and come in, do his thing, and give us some good minutes, and give us.
Yeah, that's what Pat Bev's for, right?
Give us some dog minutes, absolutely.
And what I saw, and we talked about it a little bit last year when we got Tucker. I thought our communication on defense got better, right? I've seen even more this year through 9 games than I saw all last year.
Yeah.
Right. And guys are really talking out there, which I love to see because the communication side of defense is the most important thing in basketball. So to know what we're doing and what we're in and talking through screens and all those things that matter, man. Right. Like I like seeing that stuff. I just do. I do. And I think it was KZ's point. Yeah, he coaches all the time, or Martian. He doesn't stop Nick Nurse. How about that? Mark Wagner says Eagles 8-1, Sixers 8-1. And you know what, Mark? That brings up a point. I don't know what we're doing next week. We might have to do a post game Monday night now. Maybe with the boys again, like we did last time. Remember? I don't know. We did last time with Luke and Jordan. Maybe we do that again. So we might not have a preview. So we might need sweeps to give a Sunday night pick for next Monday. Yeah. Wow, it's a long time away too. Long way away. Marshall says Bobby Jackson greater than Sam Cassell. Like Bobby Jackson, a former player?
Sounds like it.
Is he on the staff? I don't know the whole staff. I know Rico and Nick. I'm not going to act like I'm like,
Yeah, and I wouldn't go that far to disrespect Sam. I mean, maybe Martian knows something about Bobby.
Jackson.
I thought Bobby was a grinder. If that's Bobby Jackson that we're thinking of, and Tom immediately went to the player, so that's the same guy I'm thinking of. He was a JYD. He was a junkyard dog, and
that's exactly who it is.
And I love me some Bobby Jackson when he played. As far as coaching, I don't know about that, but I'm not disagreeing. I love since he's our guy, then of course I'll back him. But Sam's pretty good.
Yeah, Brian Gates, Bobby Jackson, Rico Hines, Matt Braze, Kobe Carl, Doug West, and whatever. Yeah, so that's the staff. Okay. It's good staff.
Real good staff. And it's showing, right? It's showing.
No, I was thinking David West for a second. Like that David West? Yeah, that was funny when he was when Joel was talking shit to Sammy. That's what you want. Casey said he knows who my crumb of the week's going to be. I'm trying to think. Trying to think. I mean, he's got to figure it out.
Doesn't even sound like Tommy's got it figured out.
No, I don't. Casey, give me a hint. Like, give me a sport, and then you'll trigger it. Give me a sport and you trigger it. Because I think I know what you think. But I don't want to say it because I don't want to do like a guessing game here. So just give me.
Yeah, Antonio. I mean, that's what I was saying. We don't know enough of. We're disrespecting anybody. For the comment, and obviously we're excited. We're excited with our staff. So, giddy up. I didn't know enough about him. As a player, yes, not as a coach. I think Sam's been doing it longer. So, but doesn't mean that Bobby's not better.
No. Like I like both.
Yeah.
Like
Bobby was the head coach of the Stockton Kings, the G League, to the Sacramento Kings, and they had a league best 25-7 record under Bobby Jackson.
There you go.
All right.
He also assisted with the Kings and the Timberwolves as player development.
Okay. Player development guy too, just like Rico Hines, another player development cat. Antonio says, fellas, you think they're trading for another star or complimentary player? No. Honestly, no.
Star.
No. I think they
sure. But with Kelly being out, maybe there might be another under the radar, monopoly piece. I can see that. I can see that, Antonio. But we're plumb out of stars, but we're good. We're good with stars. I mean, we kind of alluded to it earlier, and that's just the way we like things. Doesn't mean that it has to be the end all be all, but we're good with 2 stars. I think the more mouths you got to feed, the more danger that is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if that time frame, that 10 to 12 weeks, right? If that time frame's correct, you got to think of Kelly Oubre almost as a deadline deal, right? You know what I mean? Getting him back off the injured list is almost as good as making a deal. I agree, though. If they do something, it's going to be a skill set that they go look for based off of what might be missing as the season gets longer and more into it, right?
Yeah,
whether
I
they're
think
missing a straight defender, whether they're missing a pure shooter, right? It's going to be a skill set versus a star for me.
Oh, we talked about this the other night on Wednesday, Greg. You weren't on, but it was the same conversation. It was I'm not looking for another star.
Nope.
I'm looking for those right pieces that fit around my 2 stars.
Yep.
Right. I got. There's only one basketball, so I gotta fill a roster out the right way. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure my roster fits. Right, because if it fits what my style is, coaching staff wise, which I would assume Daryl's a guy who knows Nick's system and what kind of players fit his system, and have conversations with those guys about players. So again, I don't think it's anything ever going to be big anymore. I think it's always going to be like, oh, that's a good move. I like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, that's a good move. We're running down Broad Street. That's not going to be the feel of it. The feel of it's going to be like, oh, that's a really good move. We just got better, right? That's all. That's the kind of move you'll see, right? Because you have picks to do it. That's the thing now. Now you have a second round pick to throw around, right? But the crazy thing about Kelly, back to him before we get in the crumbs, is that he took a cheap deal. So for him to miss 10 to 12 weeks this year is hurts him financially next year too.
It does.
So now if they go on a big run, he has a big postseason, then absolutely not. You know what I mean? Then the banks, every bank's calling you to take your money.
Sorry, 9-6 at halftime. Jesus.
Yeah.
How this game wasn't flexed out is unreal.
It's a great one to watch. This is the type of weekend where you say, "Hey, honey, what do you want to do this weekend?" You know what I mean? You want to go do something?
It's Sunday. Yes, it is. You're right.
Yeah. Even next weekend. Oh, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You want Bed Bath and Beyond? You know, if we have time,
Depot?
like, what do you want to do? Home Depot? Because Monday night, I love a Monday night game. I've always been like that. Gets you jazzed up for a week. And guess what, man? It's a revenge. This is revenge week.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you don't get the Super Bowl back, but you get bragging rights in the moment, right? And that's a damn good football team up there. So with a great quarterback and a great head coach. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. We're the only quarterback that hasn't lost to a team with a winning record this year yet in the National Football League. So I'm excited about that one. And, we've proven to play well against teams with really good records. If you look at our strength of schedule, our strength of schedule is pretty good. So, and that doesn't matter anything. We're a good football team. They're a good football team. Two heavyweights matching up next Monday. Early thought before Crumb is. And our quick Eagles talk brought to you by our good friends over at Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pies, sandwiches, Cowboys, meatballs. Mention HTD Radio, get 10% off your order. Early is, I just think they score because that's what they do, even though they haven't. But they'll find ways to score against us, I'm sure. I don't know. I think we're in another field goal game, like 27-24. Somewhere around there, 31-28.
Was that me or did you freeze?
No, I feel like you guys froze. I have no idea. Somebody was freezing up.
Damn.
Let's see if it's.
I saw you screen in there. I saw the side profile on you right there. You look good, buddy. Little
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Was it clean? Was it good?
A little.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 Chiefs. Yep.
2.5, 48.
I mean, that's fun. 2.5, 48. So 48 tells you they don't expect a lot of points. I thought the big number because they're not scoring, right? Because they're not scoring at a high rate. But I think
they scored a lot.
But bye week Andy's always delicious.
Bye week Andy
right?
is always
48 is pretty high.
And the 2.5 and the 2.5 though tells you it's more of a pick'em game anyway.
Yeah,
right.
You get 3 for being home, so
as it should be, right?
Like the Eagles are slightly favorite. Yeah, that's right. I think that's right where it should be. Because they're home. That's all. So, but we'll see. It's going to be it's a good matchup. Yeah, Andy, bye week Andy, and obviously Eagles off a bye as well. So, chance to get some guys healthy. No Goddard, but fully expect the Eagles to show up in a primetime game like they always do. So,
yeah, I think we find a way to limit their offense. Obviously, we saw what Denver was able to do to them, and even Miami was able to do to them after that early debacle, right? You know what I mean? They were able to hold them to 21 points, and Denver even less, right? So even though they got off to the early start, they weren't able to tack on, and I think that's been their Achilles heel all year. Now, as you both mentioned, what happens after Andy would have bye with that, right? Does he find a way to make plays late in the game? And the one thing our defense hasn't done is, although they've bended a lot, they don't break late, right? They haven't broken late, in the game. So I like us going in there. I agree, Tommy. I think it could be close, but I think we walk out with a dub.
Yeah, I give the nod. A slight, like I said, I get field goal. That's why I think the line is where it's right where it should be. And I would probably lean to the Chiefs, by a field goal, something late. I think it'll be a war, and it's tough to win in the NFL. It's tough to win in the National Football League, and obviously the Eagles, feel like they proved that's not the case because it's all they do. All right, but it's not. Yeah, as everybody showed, other teams can attest. It's just not that easy to win in this league. So
yeah,
especially on the road.
Yep. Oh, so, and that's not an easy place to play.
Yeah, and so it doesn't mean that they're not going to do it, or it doesn't mean they can't do it. I just, I would lean early. Early lean would be, Patrick, might get his with this secondary. But we'll see what kind of adjustments, that they made, during their bye week, and let's see if Kevin Baird is a little more, getting a little more accustomed to playing with this defense, and we'll see what kind of difference he can make.
No, that's big.
With
right?
The Niners. Sorry, bud, real quick. You saw with the Niners, and obviously that was, John Lynch stole from the Commanders. You know what I mean? And we all knew that. I mean, Chase Young, that's a difference maker. You know what I mean? So positionally, can Kevin Baird be that for the Eagles if he gets, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying, can he be that guy on the back end for the Eagles in their Super Bowl run? And we'll see.
Yeah.
Both dealt for third rounders,
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
John Lynch committed a bank robbery, but let's leave it at that. No mask.
Oh, listen.
When him maskless.
Yeah, that was.
You know who it is.
That was tough. That was tough as an Eagles fan. Like, oh God, okay, he's going there. Frankie, I agree with you. I think Kevin's going to be an impact. I think, like Sweep said, the extra time is only going to help a guy like that. It's definitely not going to hurt him. So, but I'm excited. It's a big game. It's a big time game. Football world's watching on Monday night. So go make a statement. Not that you haven't made some, but go make a real big one, because that's going into that's almost like going into New England back the Brady days, right? Like that's a standard right now, right? They created that standard of winning, since no time.
Oh yeah, listen, the AFC goes through them. So it's a monster game, monster measuring stick. It doesn't matter who they have or different personnel, all that stuff. They still got Andy and they still got Pat, and obviously Trav's lurking too. You know what I mean? But they get as long as they got Andy and Pat, they're going to be good for a long time.
No T Swift on Monday. No T Swift. She will be in Brazil still. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Crumb of the week brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. They're the best. You got to go try their cheesesteak if you haven't. If you're up in Levittown area, go check them out. All right.
I'll go. You want me to go? I'll give
Crumb of the week.
Yeah, I'll give Greg a break because he might have to switch gears, but he's crucified this guy. So I'm gonna I'll take the reins tonight. But it has to be unequivocally 1,000% James Franklin. It has to be. You know what I mean? There's a standard there. There's a standard there. I understand it's everybody wants to laugh about touching peenies and all that good stuff, and all that bad stuff, excuse me. All that disgusting shit that was there, at the end of Joe Pop. But you're talking about a legendary program, a program that's, is football. All right, Happy Valley is football, right? So, what are you telling your people? Are you okay with, 4 11-win seasons? Are you okay with being a regular season champ and going 9-2 every year, or like you said, with 4 11-win seasons, all right, being in top 5 in the recruiting class? You know what I mean? So it's not like he's not getting anybody. You know what I mean? This guy's bringing in recruiting classes, right? And he's just now he's 3-17 against top 10 teams. 3-17, grasp that. Okay, and a dismal 4-16 against Michigan and Ohio State. I mean, if that's not the kill shot, I don't know what is. I mean,
I don't know how you keep a job after that.
That's what I'm saying, buddy. And it just goes exactly.
Well, you end up 10-2, right? And
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely right, though.
He's looking deeper. Yeah, I mean, so how much?
Yeah.
It depends what they want internally. You know what I mean? Like I said, is all his guys graduating? They're going to class. There's no issues. Right? Nobody's getting arrested. There's no extracurricular activities. I understand that. That goes into the blender, of running a great program, of running a clean program and a respectful program. But Penn State's been a powerhouse for a long time, and at some point, that has to stop. The numbers we just gave you have to stop. The 10-2s and a bowl win and an Outback Bowl win. How cute is that? I mean, is that cute? I mean, come on, like you should be in the top 5 every year with that recruiting class, and you should be vying. Vying for national championships. I understand the SEC is loaded, and I get that. It's no disrespect to them, but you should be, to not be in not be in a playoff in a long time is just disgusting,
But they're not loaded this year, right? It's just Alabama.
Yeah.
Right. Just Alabama's there. Yeah, no, Sweeps, you're absolutely right. And they're stuck, right? You're absolutely they're okay being the 3 or 4 team in the Big Ten and sitting on 10-2s and going to the Citrus Bowl or the Rose Bowl and coming out with victories there. That's what they're okay with. And until someone gets in there that's not okay with that, then it's gonna stay like that, because you're right. You're not gonna fire a guy as much as I think a lot of people would. You're not gonna fire a guy that's winning 10 games every year.
No, probably not the easiest firing.
Yeah.
Right? But it's how you're losing 10 games. I mean, how you're losing 2 games. Right? Like Sweep said, if you're not, I'll give you, forget top 5 for a minute. You're Penn State. When I talk about Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, the list goes on. LSU, Bama, Notre Dame to a point, even though I despise them, right? But when you talk about those schools, they come with a huge history. So, and that listen, you're going to have down years. You're going to have, you know what I mean? That happens, okay? But when you're recruiting well and you're a top 10 recruiting class, we'll just say, hypothetically, you're a top 10 and you're one of those schools, you better be in the top 10. Your player recruiting pool should come out and dictate itself on the field, or what are we missing here? Is that assistant coaches? See, Greg, I don't pay enough attention. Is it assistants, right? Who is it around him with this program that's failing them game day? Because everything else okay, fine.
He makes the decisions.
Yeah, so it was everything leading
but
up.
He fired his offensive coordinator today after throwing him under the bus yesterday. So again, it's another Lincoln Riley thing, right? Let's fire the wrong guy.
Yeah, that I didn't see, so appreciate that information. I was going to allude to 74 yards passing. All right, a number 15 ranked team at home. I don't care how good Michigan is. 74 passing yards. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, what do I got?
Michigan,
7 Charles
Michigan
Woodson's
ended
out
the
there.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan
ended the game on 30 straight runs.
I know. That's incredible.
Listen, it's a fucking disgrace. It's a disgrace to a program that, has a big time tradition of winning games. And when you have that talent and it's not producing, like you said, everything leading up to game day is spotless, right? Recruiting, okay, loaded team, whatever the case may be. And on game day, in big ones, you see what comes out.
This was in theory supposed to be the year, right? You had Drew Aller finally, 5-star, and there's now questions on him, right? I know Wills isn't on, but Wills loves to say that Aller stinks, and he very well might. Who knows right now, right? He hasn't played well in big games, but you look across the field, right? When you play Ohio State, they got 3 wide receivers that are going to the league, right? You look across the field at Michigan. They got 2 running backs that are going to go to the league, right? Look, Penn State's probably got 2 running backs, but none of their receivers are going, right? So that's where the biggest issue is for this team, but that's the scary part. This was supposed to be the year because you had Michigan at home, and in theory, Ohio State wasn't as dominant as they have been in the past.
No, you lose CJ Stroud. That's an opportunity to take them down a peg. I don't care who they're throwing to. You lose CJ Stroud, that's a major blow for any team.
And like we alluded to, we don't want to talk about it all night, but like we alluded to, in the beginning, when you gotta clean things up, and you gotta come in there, and you gotta get your Ajax out, and you gotta get your scrub brush, and you gotta clean things up because it was a mess, and there was a black eye on the school and the program. I get that. But at some point, how many free passes do you get? There has to be some accountability after that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people would say, well, you wanted the guy to clean it up. He did that, and now you're going to cut his head off. Yeah, it's something. Yeah, this isn't. I know it's 2023, but this ain't participation ribbon time. This is big time football. There's 110,000 people in that stadium. Paying good money. All right? A lot of money coming into that school. This ain't. They're not a mid-major. Come on.
Yeah. No. Mine's a combo because, it's obviously Harden because you can't say you're the system and, go somewhere and not only be 0-4, but, average 13.5 a game, 5 boards, 4 assists, 2.5 turnovers, shooting 36% from 3, 47% from the field, right? You know what I mean? Like you're not the system. But the other one was, I don't even want to talk too much about that loser anymore. The other one was ESPN Analytics, because they did have them after we beat the Cowboys. ESPN Analytics had a 7 behind Dallas and Miami, so 2 teams we just beat. So because what they're going off is like win totals, like how much you beating people by, like they're factoring all the stupid numbers in that don't matter compared to like who has the best record and who just beat those teams. So just more morons at ESPN. This time it's just on the computer front. Yeah. Computer gate. Might want to fire your computer after those rankings.
Hey, guys are getting fired left and right. You might want to just shut down all your stupidity. Come on.
Yeah, might want to fire the computer because that's just ridiculous. Like you don't want to put us 1. I don't care. But like we're top 3, no matter how you want to slice that bread. You know what I mean? However you want to dish that pie out. We're top 3 in that pie. So don't even start with that shit.
The national media is become a joke.
Oh, well, it hasn't become.
Or sports media, even especially.
It's been.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know. Down here, we had the Cowboys game on at the 4 o'clock, so it was on. And Greg Olson and Kevin Anderson, little baby KK.
Yeah.
They couldn't slob the Cowboys just trashing the Giants. They were trash. It was the Giants. There was nothing. It was like, throw the towel. They're dead, right? They're dead. Like,
the Giants should.
They were just blowing them.
They should forfeit the rest of the season.
My dad's like, oh my God, are these guys creaming in their pants every time Dallas does something?
Yeah, and guess what? Like, what are you supposed to do?
I hear you. Yeah,
I always say that about the announcers, so I don't get on guys too much unless you're just like really bad at it. Because it's like you have to.
No, but you should keep it real, though. I hear you. I know what you're saying. They're calling the game in front of them. If they want to get excited, that's okay. But also, let everybody know that maybe doesn't have eyes. That the Giants are a little league team. You know what I mean? Like they don't belong on a football field. They
just did the game last week where the Cowboys lost.
They're better off forfeiting the season. Right? They're better off. They're wasting people's time. Right? And 4 touchdown passes. The Cowboys had more. Now they probably got some slop, but at one point, 3rd quarter, maybe early 4th, Cowboys had more points than the Giants had total yards. Total yards. Think about that.
Amazing.
Total yards. It was like 35-24. An absolute embarrassment. An embarrassment. All right. And these guys want to talk shit about the Eagles and stuff. You know who you are. All right. You guys know who you are. You want to try to throw boulders at the Eagles. All right. You guys got your underwear is huge. You got monster fucking balls to fucking throw any fucking hate or anything at the Eagles. When your football team is the New York Giants, what a disgrace. A disgrace. 4 touchdown passes. There's 4 touchdown passes on the whole year. And as I alluded to earlier, there's multiple quarterbacks multiple that have more that have plus 4 touchdown games.
Yeah.
I mean, just let that sink in. There's guys that have multiple 4 touchdown passing games individually. These guys have 4 all year. I mean, it is what it is, and it's embarrassing. So I know what Tom's saying, but at some point, I would like a little honesty. Right? And I think that's how you get, a reputation where people want to listen to you. You know what I mean? Like, I know you got to call what's in front of you, but have a little. Let's call it how it is. Let us all know, and don't worry about getting into, getting interviews with the Giants. Don't be getting worried about, getting welcomed in that locker room. Tell it how it is, because if they don't know how it is, then shame on them. Tell them that they don't belong playing football games. They're not an NFL team. They're not an NFL team.
No,
not right now. They're not. You're right.
Like, hey, they got a rookie undrafted quarterback playing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe his parents went there. Like, if my kid was that bad, I wouldn't leave the porch. You know what I mean? So, I mean, credit to them for even flying to Dallas. I mean, I can't believe they said, "Hey, you want to get on a plane and go watch Tommy in Dallas?" I would have said, "Are you out of your mind?"
Well, she had to pack his lunch.
Are you high?
She had to pack his lunch.
Get back in the house. We're watching the game on the couch, and I'm still closing the blinds. Are you done? Good.
You can talk about getting thrown into the fire.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like, okay.
First start. Hey, here's the Cowboys.
He wasn't good in college, so I mean, he had no chance in the NFL. But I hear you.
Yeah. Not a tough spot. Not a good quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, hey, just hope Tommy. That's what you say to her. Just hope Tommy can hold the clipboard the rest of his life, honey.
Yeah,
just be good enough to hold the clipboard the rest of his life, and we'll be good.
Maybe he'll move out. Maybe he'll move out sooner or later.
Yeah.
Mom, take it for him.
My crumb of the week. Sweep stole half of mine, but the other one's going to be the NCAA and their handling of this whole Michigan debacle. Right? I mean. I to be honest with you, I don't know what the whole big deal is. I mean, isn't that what scouting is all about, right? But
Scott Van Pelt said it best the other night.
I didn't hear it.
Give a circle back at ESPN. He's just like we pick and choose.
Yeah.
Right. And then social media influences, their decision making in this situation. They hope that it just goes away because they all know it's like this is what everybody does. And then now Michigan's like, okay, well, I'm going to rat out everybody I've seen. So now they write out. Now they're a mole, right? Now they're a little rat. So now they got to rat out everybody. It's like, dude, the same thing in baseball. Like, what changed baseball is you went computer with it. Okay, you went too far. You went video. You went trash cans. Okay, but stealing signs from second base, clean your life up. If I'm stealing signs from you,
forever.
You know what I mean? So that stuff doesn't bother baseball guys, right? They took it too far. This situation, it's not taking it too far. It's what they're doing. We talk about it all the time. In the NFL, the other team knows what you're running. They know what you're running. Are your guys better enough to get the job done and execute?
Yeah, I mean, you think, like I said, no, you're right. Do you think Tony Romo's the only guy to call plays out? And we all slobber on him. Hey, Tony, doing a great job in the booth, buddy. Holy shit! What's the lottery going to be? Like, the guy played in the league for 15 years, dude. They all run the same sets. You know what I mean? So, okay, you got a tight end over here. He might run a little YZ banana here, reverse. All right, good call. Like, awesome. But, like, absolutely. Couldn't agree with both of you more. Like, that's what it is. So they had a little nerd there, and he was looking at you guys. He was looking at you guys holding up your signs. What's he think about it? Then you got to change it. I mean,
he's not a practice. Right, Greg? He's not a practice.
Yeah, no.
So it's not like, sorry, I didn't want to take over your crumb.
No, it's fine.
I just thought it was interesting because it's all horse shit.
It is. I think it completely is, and I hate Michigan, right?
Yeah,
but
you're a Penn State
and even Matt Rule said it fine. Like, you look at it on high school fields, they all got headsets, talking to their players. You look at the pro level, they're all talking to their players. For some reason, college, you can't talk to the players. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're throwing in signs and doing all this. So it's like, why can't college get with the times? Everybody else does, right? But to me,
that's the greatest point. Then you don't have as much. Now you don't know as much.
Yeah. The crumb to me comes into play is when you decided to suspend Harbaugh. You let him board the plane on the way to Penn State, and you suspend him there. Now, the game ended up how it is, but you don't think that you just invigorated an entire team right before game time and just put another team completely just out the pasture, right? You know what I mean? Like, you put the even bigger chip on Michigan to come out and do it for Jim. Again, shouldn't have even been done, but you knew you were going to do it. You couldn't wait till Monday after the game, or you couldn't do it Monday before the game, right? Leading up, you knew what you were going to do.
But
it's the NCAA, so it's just like, let's just do it while they're on the plane. And Jim Harbaugh is sitting at the Ramada Inn right there in Happy Valley, because that's where the opposing teams stay, and he's just sitting there watching it. And I just think the whole handling of the situation has just become an absolute travesty. But again, it's the NCAA, so it's par for the course.
Yeah, they were jazzed up. I mean, obviously, the assistant guy's crying. I mean, get a grip.
Dropping F-bombs on Fox.
I was going to say. I mean, I came out of the womb, fucking. That fucking nipple. You know what I mean? So I'm all for cursing, but I mean, get a grip, bro. Get a grip. I mean, the tears and I mean, holy shit, bro.
I was turned off by the tears, but then he started dropping F-bombs, and I'm like, I'm back.
Yeah, like I had thought at first, I thought like Harbaugh got assassinated or he got diagnosed with cancer. Like it was like incredible. Like this dude's fucking crying. Like holy shit, man. It'll be okay, buddy. It'll be okay.
You know what? Yeah, you know what though? It's like all the players tweeted out bet. There was like 40 tweets from Michigan players all saying the same thing when it happened. So they all tweeted it out because then they fired them up. Now, listen, you still got to go play the game. It's whatever, right? Yeah. But, at the end of the day, it's the NCAA can't get out of their own damn way. And that's well documented. This is just another example of it. Like you said, Greg, the simplest thing is, okay, let communication go through the headset set. Like, we make billions of dollars here. So why are we playing broke in the NCAA? Like, you ain't broke. You got players making tons of money. You're making tons of money. Everybody in the NCAA should be happy as a pig in shit right now because everybody's making a ton of money. Everybody. And when you expand the bowl playoff games, like we've been like I've been saying for years. That's gonna be
Penn State's biggest win.
You know what I mean? I've been saying it since we started doing shows here. Remember? I'm the biggest advocate. Like, dude, with two teams, you wait for two teams. All this college football for two teams. So some people are uninterested. 4, okay, more are interested, but give me a little higher. You know what I mean? Give me up the higher number, and let's have a real playoff.
To Greg's point, that's probably why he's going to survive because they're going to 12. You know what I mean?
You know it's coming.
Yeah, if they ain't in 12, then his head's definitely getting cut off.
Yeah, we'll be with Jerry.
Also, Jimbo Fisher, a big giant crumb, and Texas A&M, nice $76 million payday.
Yeah, I'm not anti-Jimbo, right? Like, not crowning him, but not anti-Jimbo either. But nice.
Nice payday.
Nice to 2031, I think it is. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good time. That's fun. Like, imagine not having to do anything and make that kind of money.
Yep.
Don, we love you, bro. 7-2. Happy for you, man.
Yeah, big win today, Donnie. Big win today.
Man,
and your Pistons.
Don.
Don, your Pistons, I like, man. I like that Killian Hayes a lot. Cade Cunningham's a good player too. I like that young Pistons squad down over there.
Yeah, they're young.
So hang in there, Don. Hang in there.
Don, you're our guy, brother.
Somebody said, leave you with this. Umberto said, got a Crumb doggy pay real quick. He absolutely got pants against the Niners. Where was that game at?
It was in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville.
Yeah.
1 o'clock. So normally, if they hadn't lost, three in a row, that's a monster. That's that West Coast coming east 1 o'clock time slot, and you hammer the Jags. Lost 3 in a row. That's easy peasy. That was easy money today. Easy. You don't expect maybe a 34-3 thumping.
Trevor looked like rookie Trevor today.
Yeah, I was going to say the Jags are what they are. They're a cute story. You know what I mean? He's, Sunshine. I think somebody posted it this week, and that just goes to show you how embarrassing that is, because and it's one of those things where one thing doesn't look like the other, but the stats are unbelievable. Somebody posted it. Some nerd did his research, posted Sunshine Stats, and Mac Jones, and they are fucking similar, boys.
Wow.
Go take a bite of that apple. Unreal. And if you look at Mac Jones and you don't think he's a dumpster fire, then I got news for you. And their stats are similar. Insane.
Yeah, I do like Sunshine, but he hasn't gotten better.
No.
You know what I mean? He hasn't gotten better. So he needs to have a big jump here. A lot of football still last year, but he needs to have a big
got
jump.
A lot of talent around him.
Yeah.
Oh, there ain't no question there. I mean, obviously the boys, Sanford had 5 sacks today. Chase Young had a half. Farrell had a sack.
Yeah, they got
Armstead had a half. Bosa had a sack and a half. Javon Hargrave had a sack and a half. I mean, they are deep up front, and then Trey Greenlaw and Fred Warner clean it up. I mean that. I like our front seven a ton. That front seven's better. Like we're realists here. That front seven's better there. I mean that is
with the addition of Sweat or Chase. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with the addition of Young. I mean, it was already might have been better because their linebackers are better, right?
Sure.
So you give them the toss there, right? And we might be a little deeper, but the just in a Young just separates it.
Yeah. I mean, Fred Warner is awesome.
Fred Warner might be the best player in football, and nobody talks about it enough.
His interception though was thrown right to him, like he should have gone.
Yeah, he's still,
but he's still a hell of a ball player.
Yeah, so I mean, like Sweep said, we got to hope Kevin Byard can be that kind of impact for a secondary that needs it. And we're 8-1, haven't played our best football, haven't taken the ball away at all from anybody, and we're still 8-1. So maybe Sunday or Monday nights, maybe we steal a pick or two from Patty. Maybe we get to the quarterback a little bit. So whatever, I'm happy with the place we're in. So boys, great show. Like always. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, follow, tell your boys, send them links, tell them to subscribe. Stay with us. You know what I mean? Stay with all our shows.
Possible 45 to an hour and 45. We are the greatest. We are.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Good work, boys. Good work.
I was like, no way we got that much to talk about.
Yeah.
Just Sixers post game, but we find the way. You know what I mean? We're good,
brother.
Well, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, guys, everybody that chimed in tonight, excited about the Sixers. It's good to have you. It's good to be back. It's good to talk shop with yous again. We love yous. Stay with us forever. We're here forever. All right, that's it. So we play Sixers again. What, Tuesday night?
Yep.
Tuesday
night. In-season tournament game.
Yeah,
they're 1-0 to start that. So, let's get Don knock it off. Let's get back.
Two home, 2 away. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah. Well, let's get to 2-0 in
4
that
games total. Yep.
Indy, Boston, Atlanta, Brooklyn.
Hey man, that's a chance to go 4-0. All right.
Is Friday a game too? Is Friday an in-season?
Friday might be Atlanta.
Yeah, they're in our group. So
yeah,
Tuesday, Friday should be 2 group games because it goes through November.
Yeah.
Friday, November.
Thanks, Antonio.
Antonio, appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate it.
And
all right, guys.
And by your photo.
I was just gonna say.
Appreciate your service, brother.
Yeah, appreciate your service, brother. These guys are better than
and
me.
Everybody else who's listening.
They're quicker.
If you're thank you.
These guys got a better eye than me. You know what I mean? These two. Great job. Great job out of you two, too. Thank you two for your service. Like always. Wilson, he's a busy guy.
Told us he'll be back next week. He said, make sure he told you back next week.
Oh, yeah, thanks, bro.
Yeah. Till something else comes up.
Yeah.
You guys should definitely do a show.
Thanks for permission.
Thanks for your permission.
Yeah.
I'm a big fella.
We love them. It's a love-hate. But we're brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And they accept most major insurances. We are also brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go book your Philly Sports getaway today, phillysportstrips.com. And like we already talked about, Royal Billiards for all your game room accessories, everything in hot tubs. 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA. Go check them out. Or on the web, royalbilliard.com. We love you. We appreciate you. For Greg Milakovic, Nick DelGozzo, I'm Tom Arnone. For Brian Wilson, he's with us, but he's no longer with us. Sixers